Okay, so I have been thinking about this question lately. Not the surface level stuff, not about which model to pick or whether the market has a bubble or if Anthropic's valuation makes sense or whether AI is going to replace me. Okay, maybe a little about the last one. I've been thinking about something simpler and honestly a lot more uncomfortable. Why are we all using AI? Not how, on a deeper level. What is the actual point? And I think the answer most people give is pretty straightforward. To save time, to save money, to replace expensive workers with cheaper tokens. That is the standard narrative. And on the surface, it checks out. I run a small company myself. I use AI for everything from accounting to filing to management workflows. Stuff that used to take me 3 or 4 days now takes me a couple of hours. I'm living inside the efficiency narrative. No more outsourcing, no more hiring a specialist. I became the specialist. I also became the outsourcer. But here's the thing that kept bothering me. If everyone can replace workers, then nobody has an advantage. If I save on my accountant's salary, my competitor also saves on their accountant's salary. So when we both bid for the same project, neither of us has a cost advantage anymore. The savings just get competed away. The price drops to match the new baseline. And the efficiency gain, the one that was supposed to be the whole point, it disappears into the market. And next quarter, you're back where you started. Except now you are working faster for the same money. Or less money because you have to pay for the subscription and token fees. This is the efficiency paradox. I call it the hamster wheel of innovation. And it gets worse. AI companies right now, the ones building the actual models, they're burning cash at an incredible rate. OpenAI loses billions a year, Anthropic loses billions a year. And the thing is, they're selling something that supposedly saves people money, but the AI companies themselves cannot make money. That is weird. The reason is simple. They are making this tool that makes everybody more efficient, but their own business model are not efficient enough. They gotta pay for the electricity, they gotta pay for the rising hardware price. So you have the single most impressive technology in human history, and its best business model is hoping you forget to cancel your subscription, while also forget to use it. So here is the question that has been bothering me. Is AI actually creating value? Or is it destroying value? Because think about this, if every company in an industry starts using AI, every single one, they all become faster, they all lower their bids, the entire market expenditure shrinks, the baseline drops. The wages that used to exist, a part of them end up in the AI companies' pockets, but mostly they just vanish from the economy. And this leads to a really uncomfortable question. Is the whole efficiency story just a mirage? Is AI just a way to accelerate work without actually changing anything? Let me use an analogy that makes this clearer. Imagine you're a rickshaw driver. You were never rich, but that was never the point. But you had a role. You could reliably earn enough to live on, because not everyone could do what you did. It took strength, it took stamina, it was a real skill. You can still find rickshaw drivers here in Kyoto. They probably make more money than I do. Then, cars came along. Suddenly, anyone could be a driver. You did not need to be strong, you just needed a license. More people entered the market. Your income dropped, but you still had a role. You were still driving. Then, riding-sharing app arrived. Now, everyone with a car and a phone can undercut you. The barrier is almost zero. Your income drops again. And now autonomous driving is coming. At that point, what is your role? There is no role. This is the problem. It's not that the driver becomes poor. The problem is that the latter disappears. The path that existed for someone to earn a living through this skill, that path gets removed entirely. It does not matter how good you are at your job, because the job itself is dissolving. Now, apply these to AI. A junior programmer, a copywriter, translator, a data entry clerk, a junior accountant. None of these people were high earners, but they had a ladder. That ladder is being pulled up, not because AI made them less skilled, but because the value of their specific skill is being compressed, flattened by the sheer volume of people who can now do something similar with AI. This is the thing that makes the efficiency story uncomfortable. It is not about the rich becoming poor. It is about the floor collapsing. And here is where it gets even more interesting, because there is a global strategy at play here, a strategy that reveals exactly what AI is becoming. China is pushing open source models, DeepSeek V4, GLM 5.2, Chuan 3.6. They're not trying to build the best model in the world. They're trying to make AI a commodity, and they're succeeding. Think about what happens when AI becomes a commodity. The model quality stops mattering because every model is good enough. Once you cross that threshold, and we crossed this a while ago, everything above that threshold is just a F1 racing. It is impressive, but it does not affect what a normal person can do. What really matters at that point is cost. And here is where people make a mistake. They break cost down into two things: raw computer power and electricity. And then they say China loses on compute because of chip sanctions and wins on electricity because they have cheap power. Same playbook as solar panels and EVs, just another low-cost manufacturer. That framing is wrong because it leaves out the third factor: computing efficiency. China is not just the cheapest producer at scale, it is also one of the most efficient. DeepSeek did not win the market by having more electricity. They beat it by designing more efficient architectures, mixture of experts, smarter training pipelines. They got more performance out of fewer and weaker chips. That is genuine engineering leadership. So the real breakdown is three things: raw computer power, China is behind. The sanctions are real. They cannot access the latest NVIDIA hardware. Computing efficiency, China is leading. DeepSeek and JLM are proving that architecture design can close the hardware gap, sometimes even reverse it. Electricity production, China is leading by a massive margin, both in total capacity and cost per kilowatt. But I'm not telling you this to argue about who wins. I do not care about that, and honestly neither should you. You're just a normal person trying to do your thing, and I'm just a normal person trying to do my thing. We are in the same group. Unless you're the real shareholder of OpenAI or Anthropic, then I don't know why the fuck you're watching my videos. Anyway, what I mean is, what matters is what this reveals about AI's trajectory. In some parts of the world, AI is treated like a weapon, a strategic asset, something to be controlled, licensed, monetized at high prices, only accessible to the few who can afford it. In other parts of the world, AI is treated like a public infrastructure, something to be opened up, given away, made as cheap as possible so that everyone can use it. These two philosophies are colliding right now, and the second one is reshaping the market faster. It is economically inevitable. Once open source models cross the quality threshold, and they already have, once a model is good enough, further improvements become Formula One racing. Impressive, but irrelevant to the average user. I cannot drive a Formula One car. I would crash into a wall in the first 5 seconds. But I know for a fact that a BYD can get me to the grocery store and back. AI is the same. The difference between GPT whatever and the latest DeepSeek is not visible unless you're running benchmarks or high-level programming. And the average user does not run benchmarks. The average user write an email to my landlord. DeepSeek v4 can handle the daily work of most people. Writing, analysis, research, all of it. Good enough, sometimes better. JLM 5.2 encoding. It matches Claude. The model people pay $200 a month for. It matches it. So the proprietary models lose their pricing power. They cannot charge a premium for something people can get for cheap. They become like bottled water sold next to a public fountain. I say this as someone who paid for ChatGPT from day one. I was a launch subscriber. I believed in it. But when DeepSeek v4 came out this April, I stopped paying, simply because there was no need anymore. What I was paying for was now available for a fraction of the cost. The premium no longer justified itself, and I think a lot of people made the same decision without announcing it. This is what the AI commodity transition actually means. AI goes from being an exclusive technology to being a public utility, something as ordinary as electricity and water, something everyone has, something nobody can charge a premium for. And for someone like me, a creator, a small business owner, a person who just wants to build things, that is the most important change happening right now. And this brings us back to the original question. If AI is becoming a commodity, if the efficiency gains get competed away, if the window where you have an advantage is shrinking, what can you actually build with this thing that lasts? Here is what I landed on. There is a window, right now, between the moment AI arrived and the moment it became fully commoditized. That window is maybe a few years, 6 months, it might even be less. It might be the time between me publishing this video and the comments pointing out something I missed. But in that window, people who use AI aggressively, who integrate it into everything they do, they have an advantage. But the advantage is not efficiency, because efficiency gets eaten by competition. The advantage is that you have time, extra time, to build things that a commoditized AI cannot take away from you. 3 things survive the commoditization. First, your portfolio, the actual stuff you made, the projects you completed using the extra speed AI gave you, the video, the products, the code, the designs, a piece of content that is yours, not generated, made by you with AI as a tool. This video is an example. I'm using AI to help me write this script because my English sucks. English is my third language. I cannot write a good script with my own English. But it doesn't matter. I'm also using AI to help me make the point about not just relying on AI. The irony is not lost on me. I'm deep in the irony. Second, your taste, the judgment you develop from making thousands of decisions about which AI output to use and which one to throw away. That judgment, that refined sense of what is good. AI can generate 100 options, but knowing which one is good, knowing which one to pick, that is a skill you develop by doing. I have been developing this skill for 2 years. I spent 30 minutes yesterday choosing between 3 AI-generated B-rolls, and I ended up going with the first one. I'm still not sure I have it. Third, your trust. The relationships you build, the clients who know you will not screw up, the people who know you deliver. AI can write 100 perfect emails, but AI cannot see through a difficult conversation with a client. AI cannot take responsibility when something goes wrong. AI cannot be the person someone calls when they need it done right. That is the one thing that remains after the commodity wave hits. Unless in one of those emails you forgot to delete the part ChatGPT responds to you. You've done it. I know. So the conclusion I came to is this. Do not use AI to get faster at your old job. Use AI to make something new. Use the time it gives you to build your portfolio, to sharpen your taste, to earn trust from real people. This channel only exists because AI saves me time and makes me more efficient. If I show my clients this mega YouTube channel with 3 followers, they will be impressed. If you got something out of this, leave a like and subscribe. If not, watch another one. See you next time.